Hey, what's up guys? Many of you have asked me how to become a professional tennis player. I'm about to fly to Wimbledon, but I'm gonna answer the question now in a longer video. Let's get right into it. Let's go. Alright, becoming a professional tennis player is not a normal job. It's not something that you can say, okay, I do this, and this, and then I will guaranteed become a professional tennis player. All the players that turned pro, they went on a different path. So today I want to outline a few paths. I will also talk about my own path, and I hope this will help you, and I'm also very sure this will help you to make your own path towards a possible professional tennis career. As I've said, Mallorca is over. We're going to Wimbledon now. It's my first Wimbledon, third Grand Slam, and it's been a long way to get here, so very excited to play Wimbledon. I'm not there yet, but I'm sure we will have our first match on Wednesday or Thursday. Nonetheless, I will talk about my own story, how I got here. As I've said, it's been a long way, so I will take you all the way back now. I first started playing tennis when I was about 4 years old. I actually didn't like it in the beginning, I hated it. And I told my parents I'm not playing any more tennis. Until 3 years later, luckily I picked up a racket again. And then I'm gonna be honest, I was quite talented. And on the local level, I started playing tournaments about a year later. What motivated me was the trophies. So when I got my first trophy at the club event, I asked my parents, where can I get more? And then they got some informations because my parents had no idea about tennis. They only played for fun a few times. And then I started playing junior tournaments under 10 on the local level, like around my city in Stuttgart, and I was quite dominating the competition. I was one of the best players in my city, which has also a lot to do with talent. I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of talent involved in becoming a great tennis player. Later I will get more into this topic, but for now there has to be some talent, and you have to play a lot as a kid. I immediately fell in love with the competition, and I played tournaments almost every weekend when I was even in elementary school, and my progress was like always getting a bigger and bigger tournament radius. So in the beginning I played a lot in Stuttgart, then I played a lot in my state, Baden-Württemberg. And then once I got to the under 12s, under 14s, I started to play around Germany. In the summer holidays, we had a lot of European tennis tournaments in Germany. I also played a couple in Croatia, Austria, and in the Czech Republic, and kind of got used to competing around the world. I also played the Orange Bowl when I was about 11 years old, flying to the US. That was a great experience, and I personally always choked in the beginning when I played away from home. I couldn't handle it, and now I'm playing 30 plus weeks a year all around the world competing, so this is a process. For me, I was a good junior. I was about in the top 20 in the under 18s in Germany, but that's not really a thing where you would say, okay, this guy has to go pro. So I went the college route. I've outlined this route in another video. This is very good if you're not a top player, that you progress through the junior tournaments, start to play some men's tournaments, maybe in your country, also some futures if your schooling allows it. And if you're not dominating out of the gates at the futures, then you play college tennis. That's what I did. And then I played college tennis 4 years at San Diego State. Amazing time. I also talked about that in another video that I encourage you to check out. And then I started on the Futures Tour, which is not an easy path. You play a lot of small tournaments in villages. The people that organize it are always quite nice, but there's just not a big budget to maybe even have a shuttle service, and you play in small indoor courts, like in the middle of nowhere, no one is watching. Like it's a frustrating thing. Of course, you're playing tennis, your hobby, you make it to your profession, so it's not as bad or dramatic as some people make it sound. I mean, still you play tennis, but it's not really glamorous, and it has nothing to do with the life of a professional athlete as it's imagined by so many people. So then I progressed after college through the Futures Tour. Initially I wanted to become a top singles player, but unfortunately I couldn't fulfill that dream. And then towards the end of my singles career I was about to stop, but then I discovered doubles and the love for doubles. I've always been pretty good in doubles, also in college, but yeah, not amazing. And yeah, then I thought towards the end of my singles days or my singles focus days that yeah, let's fully focus on doubles. And yeah, that's where I'm today after playing through the Challengers and some ATP events. Yeah, tomorrow the flight to Wimbledon, and that's a very short take on almost 20 years on the tennis tour. And now I hope I will outline for you the way, yeah, to make your own path to become a pro. And yeah, that's the next part of the video. Becoming a professional tennis player is a goal, and the goal is best clearly defined and not too vague. So right now I'm going to talk about what it means to be a pro mentally, and then also from the financial and success side of things. Let's start out with the mentality. You can play good tennis and maybe even beat some pro players at the lower level, but that doesn't mean that you're a pro tennis player. Being a pro tennis player means eating, breathing, drinking, living tennis. It's not a 9-to-5 job. And if you're watching this video, it's probably not your aim to have a 9-to-5 job later. Being a tennis pro is a 24/7 thing. It consumes your diet, how you're eating, your social life, and physically, training, recovering. It's a full-time thing. It's basically like building a company. So if you're not willing and ready to do that, then I have to disappoint you. Then becoming a pro tennis player and also in general a pro athlete is not for you. There is not a big balance in going for this goal. All right. From the financial side of things, success-wise, we have to define like how can you make a living, because it's a profession. It's something where you make money, and how high do you have to be ranked to do that? So if you're a player, you receive prize money at tournaments and for playing with clubs, maybe even exhibitions. I will make a separate video talking about the earning possibilities of a tennis player. But for now, let's define in singles and in doubles the ranking to make good money. So in singles, you start to make good money when you get into the qualifying of the Grand Slams, which is about the cut 230 in the world. And below that, up until the top 300, you play the main draw of Challengers, where you have hospitality, where you have solid prize money, plus you also have good earning opportunities playing for clubs. So anything below the top 300, it gets quite tough. Like the players are very good. In my opinion, players at 350 in the world, they are amazing players, but they're just right before where you make good money. So the goal in singles is to be in the top 300, top 250, top 200, top 100. The higher you go, the more you earn, the nicer tournaments you play, and also the more recognized and fame you will receive, because this is also part of being a tennis player. People will know you, you will be in public, so be aware of that. The second route, much less popular. I'm a doubles player, and even I never thought about becoming a pro doubles player. It's just something that happened later. Like I didn't know that you can make good money playing doubles, play the Grand Slams. Of course I knew Bryan brothers and everything, but as I got more into the tennis business, I saw, okay, I'm very good in doubles. Let's see how far I can take it. And as I've said, tomorrow I'm flying to Wimbledon. I'm today the number 58 in the world in doubles. So I know what I'm talking about here. And in doubles, it's even more competitive. I'm gonna also be honest, singles is much tougher and more competitive because more people try to do that. But in doubles, there's a lot less spots. So in doubles, where you start making solid, good money is when you play the tour events and the Grand Slams. And the cut for that is about top 80 in the world, maybe top 90, top 100 if you have a highly ranked player to play with you. This is typically a singles player. Then you will start getting into the Grand Slams where there's good money. And the advantage of doubles is you can get quite quick to the Challenger Tour where you have at least hospitality. So, how to become a professional tennis player? You have to know your aims. Singles about top 250 in the world, doubles about top 80. Now you know this, and now you can plan and also track where you're going. I will tell you now how you can get there, but you should always have these two metrics in your mind if you're striving also for financial success and success in general, playing the biggest tournaments. All right, so I've bored you with my own story, and I've bored you with the outline and the seriousness of the goal of becoming a pro tennis player, the definition. But now I will tell you how to get there. The first thing you have to know, and this is the toughest thing when you're young, you need to have, as the Germans say, a long breath. You have to play the long game. Oftentimes you start out when you're 18. If you're not going to college, you will start out at 18, maybe 17, maybe 19 after your high school. And you are very emotional in this time in your life. So every loss is tough, every victory is maybe bigger than it actually is. And you have to know that you need to play the long game. This means that if you are 18 years old and you find a good coach and you're working hard and you're really living the life that I've outlined, being a professional, which is tough at 18, don't get me wrong. When you're 18, there's so many things in your life, social life, girlfriend, boyfriend, all of these things. There's many distractions. But if you can kind of handle it and sacrifice that part of your life a bit and then go for it for 5 years, 10 years, if you're in your mid to late 20s, the latest, you can achieve success way before, but if you're able to go for so many years, then there is not much that's in your way to becoming a professional tennis player. Of course, and I've said this earlier in the video, you need to have a certain level of talent. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that if you're number 500 in your country and you work hard and you can achieve the goal of becoming a professional. Like it's not like that. In other aspects of life, in business, I'm sure this is possible because the cake, meaning the money involved and the spots at the top, are so big. But in tennis, as I've said, there's only a few spots and you compete against many players around the world. It's a very exclusive, very elitist club, almost, so to speak. So you need to have a certain level of talent. But you find out very quickly, like you should also not be discouraged just if you're 18 and you lose in qualis or futures. It's not the end of the world. You have time. Like when you're young, you have time on your side, and it's also important to have the mentality of developing a game plan. Like many people look for fast results playing a certain way, but you have to look like what works at the top of the game. Like nowadays they strike well, forehand, backhand in singles, forehand, backhands, great serving, great returning, amazing footwork. So you kind of see the blueprint and then you have to aim to go there. Just a quick example, you can be a pusher, a moon baller and win against a lot of people, but at a certain point you will stagnate. You will not be able to go higher and then you run into problems. That's also why I've outlined this ranking that you have to have in mind. Always think about your end goal and then develop over the years, make a path to get there. And tournament-wise, you have to start at the future level. You have to play a lot. I'm a big fan of playing a lot. It's tough, but you get used to it over the years. Training is important, but it can also help to take someone. I know this is a financial burden, but this is something you have to consider. Maybe look for sponsors or take a friend or travel in groups. You have to train well in the tournaments, between the tournaments, and also make time for training blocks. But it's very important to have a weekly routine where you always strive to improve while playing matches. And you should play a lot of matches. This is crucial because at the end of the day, you can only get better when you step into the arena. So in singles, it takes time to develop from futures to challengers to the tour. It's always, it's not a linear process. Like there's ups and downs. So the first step is you establish yourself in the main draw of the futures. Then typically you take some time, you make some results, you lose a bit. It goes like this. And the next step is to get to the challengers. When you get to the challengers, you're actually at a quite comfortable level already. Like the hotels are nice, the clubs are nice, You draw some crowds, especially as a singles player. You play often on the center court, and then you have to go to the ATP Tour. You will start to have more money when you're on the Challenger Tour, so I would encourage to invest into coaching. And this is how you slowly build a big thing. Like, you build in the beginning the base when you're 18, and you slowly build it up. And then after many years, if you have the long breath, you can go to the ATP Tour. Another option is, if you say, oh, I'm not a good singles player, I lack certain abilities. If you're very clever, I didn't do it unfortunately, but my partner Konstantin did it because he's a very smart guy. After college, he immediately said, I want to be a doubles player. The good thing is, if you focus directly on doubles, you can go quite fast through the futures. This is also a thing, the futures can be frustrating because you don't make much money, you pay for the hotels, you play in not so nice areas, and this frustrates you. Also, some players that get stuck in the Futures Tour, I don't like to say they're unprofessional, but they're not working like the people on the tour. Like now I've been playing more on the ATP Tour, and you see even the veterans that have been doing it for so long and have made millions already, and maybe even won slams, they still prepare before the match, they do something after the match, they train all the time. It's just when you're in the Futures Tour, the mentality and the knowledge is not there. So the faster you can go away from that, and in doubles you can do that quite quickly, the better it is for you to broaden your horizon. Also, I hope that this video broadens your horizon and that you can save a little bit of time by the information I'm giving you. Nonetheless, you have to make your own experiences. So in doubles, you can go quite fast to the challengers, and then it's important to go very quickly to the tour, because challengers is also tough. Like, it's very competitive, and in doubles, because I've done it, I think it's very important and intelligent to stick with the same partner and to focus on 1 year to play a lot of tournaments, and then to aim to go to the higher tournaments, the ATP Tour, the Grand Slams, as fast as possible. The third option is, well, it's not a third option, it's like a pre-thing before you go pro, is that you go to the college route. Back in my day, it was, like you played college tennis and then you kind of start at zero when you go to the pro tour. Nowadays, they have a lot of incentives of going to college. Like, if you have high rankings in college, then you can get some special exempts into certain pro events. So also consider the college route, because this is something that can help you get an education, mature a bit, live a little bit more of a social life, and then going to the pro tour. This is also a good option. But in general, those are the 3 ways to make a living being a professional tennis player. To come full circle, I talked a lot now. I want to break it down for you, what it takes to become a pro. Know where to go and how to get there. Set a clear goal. Find out about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Be honest with yourself. Have longevity. Invest in yourself if you can. And also have some fun while doing it, because it's a privilege to be a professional tennis player, to make this a job, to make money with this, to travel the world. And also, if you like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate the support. I hope I helped you a little bit on your path, and I see you in the next video. All the best.